Good morning, it's Andy Prothero and Llewellyn from PCR Global and from Fit for Purpose. Off you go, bike one. Some feedback today. I said I would give a video on my experience of going for fellowship with IOSH. So today I'm going to do that. It's off the cuff, nothing scripted. I'm just going to chat through it. So the first thing is sort of why did I go for it? Well, I went for it because it was going from £50 to £435, I believe. So I thought I'll see if I can get in and go for that. So because I would never be able to afford the hike. So I put my application in, and then I've got the requirement then to fill out the portfolio. So I spoke to some really good other fellows who do a lot for health and safety. They're really good. So I got my application. Go on, Slim. Go on you go. So I got my application, and then you have to fill out the portfolio. So this was the part that really hooked me personally. That means a lot to me. So I started filling out my portfolio, and why doing that, it asks you to reflect on your life and why you got into safety. And I got into safety after getting blown up for the last time sort of in Iraq in 2006, and I nearly died. I was in the vehicle, I got blown up. I was a close protection officer, the main PPO on that day, and I was very lucky to live. And it just caused me then to think, why on earth am I getting blown up? And you know, why didn't I do anything in school? Because I didn't do anything in school. I got absolutely no qualifications from school. I was more of a bit of a rogue. I shouldn't think about it when I was in school. Just wanted to be outside, to be honest. So it caused me to think, and this portfolio writing then caused me to think about why. And then as I look then at my sort of my sort of career, my life I should say, growing up, I'm always there helping people. I've always been a person to get stuck in and help people. And as I was filling out the portfolio, it was really, the penny was really dropping for me. Phil Douglas said this week about a calling to him. Health and safety is a calling. And I actually believe that. You know, that might sound a little bit, I don't know, flimsy to some people. I fully believe my calling is to support people. I've been a close protection officer. I've been, looked after high net worth individuals. And I do enjoy that looking after people thing. So yes, when I was writing my portfolio, it really made me think that. So the first thing is why. It's the money. I seen the hike going up, but then it got bigger than that. It got that I was able to, be recognised. Do I want to be recognised? I don't know, but I was able to be recognised anyway. If these people, the portfolio panel, accepted my portfolio, my application. And as I was writing through that, I spoke to a lot of people. It was an emotional time writing it for me, because I was looked over the years and the stuff that I've sort of given up, but also the effort, my distance that I've caused to myself and sort of family. I just saw my head's been so in the books and in the learning and in the travelling, that it's got me away from sort of some of my responsibilities, I should say, as an adult. But that's helped as well with my own emotional sort of stability. So it was a hell of an experience for me. I loved that experience. So I completed my portfolio, and then I put my portfolio in. So what happens then? That's completing the portfolio. Put the portfolio in, then we have to wait, and then I had to wait a couple of months, probably, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 months before my interview. So then you go in front of the panel, and there's a fantastic IOSH Chartered Fellow app, or we call it WhatsApp group you can join. I joined that. I never participated in any conversations, but I listened actively, and I listened as well to a number of people who were in there who were distraught and buggered off they were when they failed that process. They failed. Their portfolio got through, but they failed the interview. So that then brought another dimension to it for me. The interview. Why is somebody going to interview me of what I've just proven to you I've done in my portfolio? If you think about that, it's more so, I should imagine, you proving that you have done what you've done in your portfolio through light questioning, because it is light questioning. So I get it. I do get that. I understand that. So I had my interview. I've got my own views on interviews, the strength and weakness. 100% people need to prove they're capable of a position, and I do not buy into this well, that role's 35, it should be 35, that's 48, it shouldn't be, not everybody's at the same competence level. I have a completely different view on that. I think people should be paid, men, women, whatever you want to be known as, on your competence level in a position. That's just my own view of that. That's what I think. What you bring to the table is what you should get paid for, not just because you reach chartered member or fellow or whatever it is. So that's a bit of maybe another conversation. But interviews. So now I'm going to say, right, I'm going to go to the interview. Well, people fail the interview, so practice for the interview. What have I got to practice for the interview? I don't understand. I'm just going to say, but what I've done, surely. No. In the interview, you have to say me, me, me. And this is what everybody tells you, not we. Not we did. You have to say I done. So you are trying, and what the people who are guiding you are trying to tell you is that the actual reason you're going to achieve Chartered Fellow is it is you who has done things. It's not on behalf, it's not PCR Global who's achieved it. It's not the team you're in. It's about you as an individual. It's an individual pin on your individual chest. So again, just to let you know, that's not my hide, by the way. Right, we just sit on a log up there. So again, the interview process can catch people out in that way, but it does indicate you can fail it, and that's, I think, really important. Okay, so down to the interview. What happens in the interview? So I joined, IOSH representative was there. She's absolutely wonderful. I joined in a panel of 3. The first person introduced himself as sort of the lead on the panel, and he actually said to me, thank you for your service. That's obviously the military service. I've not made him breakfast. But ultimately, that was really, that took me aback a little bit, and I was like, oh, wow, thank you very much, sir. That's really nice. I got a habit of doing that. That was really nice. And then we went into and he explained the questioning. I will lead with the question, and we'll hand over to the other 2 panel members. So we started going through the questions. And the questions were not, remember, you can fail this. So the questions weren't difficult. They were talking about my portfolio and asking me to go in a little bit more depth on the portfolio. However, what I will say is that it did feel like good cop, bad cop with one of the interview panel members. We're all different. Look at us. I can look happy. I can look irritated. We're all different. But in an interview situation, there shouldn't be that much difference. And without a shadow of a doubt, because I'm not blind and I'm pretty good with people, there was a different feel with one of the panel members. And I thought to myself, oh, okay, this is different because I think on my feet. But I'm there to answer questions. So I answered questions, and there was a part in that whereby what I was saying was met with a visual expression of, and to me, it's like red rag to a bull, to be honest, because I don't like anybody undermining or condescending, or I don't like that. It's in my heart and my DNA to kick back. But I wouldn't say I challenged, but I asked him to rephrase the question. So that came through, but it didn't put me off track, but it made me think, yeah, okay, that didn't feel right to me. So, yeah, cracked on. Then we continued through the process of questioning, and again, the questions were on my portfolio. They weren't plucking anything out of the sky. It was on my portfolio. So I gave my reasoning, and then I was asked, well, before it got to the last question, was what will it mean to you? I started answering that in a previous question, and I had a little bit of a theory, and I said that to them. Look, it's emotional sort of triggers that I've got, and I have those emotional triggers when I'm thinking about how much somebody is helping people, or how much or people need help, and I don't know why, but I will get a little bit teary, and I did. And then, in all fairness to the gentleman who was running it, because he was wonderful, he said, look, Andy, you've already explained that question, so I can see how much it means to you, basically, something like that. He said, so I'm not going to ask the question. And then it closed, and then you wait for your result, and that's quite a long time. Now, while waiting for my result, I'm obviously seeing other people who haven't got past the process. So now I'm thinking, well, I might not get past the process, but then my only preparation for the process was my portfolio. I don't sit on any IOSH committees. I thought that would be a negative against me, and I actually asked IOSH before that, and because I am aware that people have been told, go away, sit on a committee, do a little bit more. I've never sat on a committee. But I don't know, my portfolio was full of the individual stuff that I've done for people over the years. So maybe my strengths potentially to pass that interview were based on what I can evidence, like how many tens of thousands of people I've given free training for over the years, you know. So I was comfortable with that. But let's go back to failing the interview. So then I had to wait to see if I've failed the interview, so I could fail something now. That puts it in a slightly different context, especially with my concern about interviews and interview panels. So I spoke to IOSH. I let IOSH know. I just want to know, I wasn't comfortable with the interview, right? I was in a predicament, because if I was going to say it before I got yes, you passed, or if I was going to say it after I passed, either two of those could be called into question. So when I spoke to IOSH, they were very good, and I basically said I wasn't that comfortable with a part of the interview. And I was guided, look, if you want to put I said, like, I don't want to put a complaint in, but I do want to let you know. So I let them know, and that was sort of good enough for me. Right, so back to interviews. So the process then is whether you're going to pass or not. So somebody now, think about this in the cool light of day, in system 2 thinking, is going to sit back a panel and analyse what they've asked you in system 1 thinking on the spot, and you're going to come up with it. No, you're unprepared, and then they're going to make a judgment on that. So I was very interested in that judgment making panel, because I should imagine there's a 2 for 1 and a 1 for 2, or maybe a 3 for 3 in the end, about what people think. So I was quite interested in that. I never followed it up, but I am interested in that, because with the new price hike, that's a big amount to come back up with, isn't it? I don't know whether you've got to come back up with £400, I don't know, £435, I don't know. But that's an interesting area. Anyway, I was very, very fortunate, and I got through. I know some others weren't. I can't speak for the reasons why. However, it does feel a shame. So, okay, so that's the process. Now, past the process, and I can see I'm on 12 minutes already, but some people might be really interested in this. So past the process, the price of it, £435 from £50. And the reasoning, I believe, from what I've read, IOSH are giving, and I've asked the reason live on LinkedIn as well, is that it costs to run the interviews. And I'm happy to be stood corrected by Stuart Hughes or IOSH on it, and please correct me. The price hikes, part of that has been said because we have to pay for the time of the fellows doing the interviews. Okay. I would question that personally, because if I was asked to be on a membership panel after proving myself for 5 years of doing things for free, why would I then want to be paid? So I don't understand. So maybe some fellows who now have perhaps got into that position and they want to go and do a half an hour interview, want to get paid for that privilege. And that's completely up to the individual. But it does feel a little bit counterintuitive, because the fellows you talk about are the people who've done things for nothing for 5 years. So I don't understand that £435 price hike. Now, there's the price. I disagree with that price. I think, well, it certainly would have counted me out, and all the good that I've done and all the good that IOSH said that I've done now by giving me that badge, I would not have been able to evidence that through the Chartered Fellow status. So, difficult one. I think the price is a difficult one. So, this week, a gender discussion on the gender gap at fellowship. A fantastic discussion. If females are, I say if, because I'm just talking general, if females are paid less than males, then that means they've got to find more of their own money to go for Chartered Fellowship. Now, that might not be a problem to a lot of females finding that money. Certainly, finding £435 is something I couldn't do. So I think IOSH need to look at that personally, and the gender, the pay gap. You've gone from £50 to 400 because fellows want to get paid, and whatever other reasons you give. But in my heart, that feels a little bit like you're making it even more difficult to attain. So the people who are going to attain that now are going to be financially better off individuals, and financially better off. That's got to be a guarantee, right? Otherwise, what am I going to do? I just want to get the badge to touch the fence and just say I'm fellow. I don't get it. So I think IOSH might have been, I think it'd be nice to hear from IOSH to see some more reasoning why, and for them to consider that by pricing that so high, you are potentially pricing out people who have done really good work. Because there's bound to be people who do all the free stuff like I do and on minimal wage or no wages, or they might be doing it just as a volunteer. So is it possible that IOSH could give a bracketed cost? Is it possible it could be means tested? Sounds like a big word that I don't understand. But ultimately, if I'm on 70 grand a year, I'm going to have more money than if I'm on 31 grand a year. So maybe IOSH can look at that. But as it stands, I think it's making that gap even further between the people who've got money and the people who haven't got money. And that had personal considerations. 15 minutes I've been talking about, and I make no apology because a lot of people have asked me for my view. The benefits, I don't know. I've never seen a job asking for Chartered Fellow. The benefits for me are completely personal. I've never seen a job asking for it. I don't think there's any Chartered Fellow group in IOSH. If there is, I haven't been told yet. And if there was, that might be good, because then a load of people who do a load of things for free can come up with a load of good ideas and give more for free. So maybe there's a potential there. So the personal benefits are personal, really personal. I'll admit, when I've changed my LinkedIn and I've changed my signature, I'm really proud of that. But that's my personal achievement. There's nothing to come back from IOSH from that other than giving me sort of that pin. So the personal benefits, the process I've covered, my view on the price hikes, which I do disagree with, and I think that could be made fairer. I think it's just opening a bigger gap, and that's the discussion I would like Stuart Hughes to have, and sort of that would be great. And that's it. So 16 bloody minutes. Apologies, maybe. I don't know. But final one. Stuart Hughes, obviously IOSH president. I don't even like the word president, if I'm truthful. That's just me, right? That's just me. Someone said this week, why should they be fellows? Why are the name fellow for a male and a female? Which made me look at that, and apparently the term fellow is gender neutral. I wouldn't have known that. I'm not that clever, am I? But what have you got? You found a ball. Right. So, but I would like to say Stuart Hughes, as the president, he's live, isn't he? He's on LinkedIn, he's visual, you can feel, you can touch him. And LinkedIn is a double-edged sword, and people who put themselves out on LinkedIn put themselves out for that to be sort of called out and questioned and open. But Stuart Hughes is very good at receiving those and dealing with those, which I think is an excellent step for IOSH in absolute general. So that's it. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay productive as always. I got a new company. It's Fit for Purpose .learn worlds, and that's a free resource that I'm building out for people, because that's what I said that I would do in my chartered interview and chartered fellowship interview, and ultimately I was doing that anyway. That's it. Thanks for watching. Here he comes.